Hey guys, this is a pre-recorded match. We're playing against Rene Descartes. He's playing against Abbasid, and we're playing on Hill and Dale. I had a couple of really bad matches before this. It was a little bit on tilt, and this next game was pretty good. I still didn't play, I don't think perfectly, but we did make some. Um, at least we did at least our build order clean. We were playing earlier and messing up our build order, and basically lost two matches that we should have 100% won. So a little bit unfortunate. Um, Everyone's got safe berries, safe stone, safe deer patch, but he does have a front gold, which is going to be kind of nice. And we have kind of unsafe stone and unsafe gold forward on both of them. But on the plus side, we do have a really safe wood line. These wood lines aren't very safe. Our third wood patch is kind of really forward, which is a little bit unfortunate in terms of spawn. But it's going to be okay. We do see his scout out here. And we start rotating around the side, trying to just run parallel. Excuse me. And so the big thing with this build that we were going to do our Keshik build. But as we were going for it, um, a lot of times recently playing against Abbasid, they've been they've been basically going spearmen. Lots of racks I've been seeing going playing against Mongols. So a lot of people are starting to produce spearmen immediately. So when you get that first Keshik out, it's kind of unfortunate because you're not actually being able to get a lot of good not you can't it's hard to get your money's worth out of the Keshik early on. So with that being said, we're gonna look to age up here. We're a little bit late on the timing, but what we're looking to do here is we're hoping to age up with Keshik or with stables. But if we can't, we're gonna go for age up with after aging up, we'll go with our archery. Going for Deerstone. We do have our split here to send two onto gold, one onto food, one onto wood. And we do start scouting our opponent's base here. You see that he's just rotating onto stone. And we were looking to maybe stay here and harass him here on the stone to slow down his stone production. In retrospect, I think I should have done this instead of harassing his berry villagers, which we decide to do is to start to harass here on food. I mean, it's a really slow process, and he's just going to pull berry villagers and go onto deer. We're a little bit late here on our stable, as well as a rotation here. We were supposed to be 6-3-3, and we kind of messed that up. We're gonna drop our stable, but it's really late, so we decided to cancel it. We have, we've seen our opponent's thing here, and I decided to grab all four villagers to drop it in immediate archery range, and from here we're gonna try to get Mangudai out immediately. We are harassing his villagers here, but he's pulling these injured vills to collect sheep. So he does a pretty good job here doing that. And we're not going to be able to kill his Khan straight out here. And then this is his military wing, and he starts pushing across immediately. And he does see our 5 villagers on gold here. But our first Mangudai are about to start popping out here, which is good. You can see timing wise, he's kind of slow tapping up this here, and we do see his villagers here, or his army here, so we do have to be a little bit careful about how we engage. And it's just a small little battle here. We have to be careful because we do get outranged by these archers. Over here, we're kind of harassing here. Got his villagers off of berries. And this would have been big, I think, harassing off of the stone. So a little bit of a mistake in, in some sense doing that. And we're kind of pushing forward here. We're getting a little bit of harassing, and we're trying to see where he's going to drop this next TC. And I guess it makes sense that would have been right here on the deer patch. Here we pushed back his initial aggression, and he interestingly goes for spearmen here. Not entirely sure why he goes super heavy on the spearmen. I'm guessing because they're not super expensive in terms of wood cost, and since he's trying to drop a second TC, that's his. And he's gonna drop his second TC way back here where it's safe. So it would have been nice having our Khan maybe scouting us out, staying back here. And we do, since we have this forward position, we're harassing. There's no way around here as well. He gets a really nice spawn with this here as well. We're gonna try to rotate around the side here and see if he's dropping a TC. We have gotten our market up. We have built a couple of traders. We're getting a stable out. And we're going to start rallying a bunch of villagers onto wood now. And we're running through over here, and we're just out of range of his TC. We see that the second TC is almost done. We have to be careful staying out of range here. He's going to pill his army that he has. And we're going to be able to get a villager kill, and that's it. Oh no, we don't even get a villager kill. I thought we got one. But we are getting some kills in general, but we do unfortunately get our con snipe, so we're going to lose these 4 sheep, which is actually a really big mistake on our part. But we are rallying some more troops here to the middle, and we are going to pull 12 villagers around the 8-minute mark onto the deer, and a tower for some vision here to really to help us out. And at this point, we've gotten our eco upgrades. We're ramping up a market, getting a second market, getting ready to go, and we're pretty much as well as our superior mobility. We're getting ready for an age up. We're not age up. Our eco is getting ready to scale. He's keeping tabs on these sheep that we're sending back. He's building spearmen. He's got his archery range up. And now that he's got double TC, he's producing a bunch of villagers. We're able to snipe one villager here in this gold. Take out another spearman. He's pushing across. Our sheep are still doing their march. He's getting a scout out now to go pick up these sheep, which isn't a bad move. Maybe not worth it to do out of your TC. A little bit of Miss Micro here, losing that Mangudai for no reason. So a little bit of mistake on our part here. Again, he's chasing our Mangudai with his spearmen, so it's a really weird play on his part. I think he accidentally clicks on us, and he's starting to lose a lot of units here, and we are starting to produce some cavalry now, some keshiks to start giving our army a little bit more sustenance, a little bit more sturdiness for, you know, because if once we kill these spearmen, it's hard to push into just all archers with Mangudai. Like you can, but once you get a couple keshiks mixed in, it's a lot better trade. We do have this second market set up in the back, and we are moving our initial market over, which is going to help. Our traders are going to start repositioning onto the other market. I guess I could have manually started sending them over to the other market, so a little bit of a mistake there. And we are building traders out of here. Again, we wanted to get some raids in the back, but this TC really covers this area back here really well. So we're not going to be able to dive under there without losing a lot of Mangudai. It's not going to be worth it. Here at the front, we do have a Keshik and a Mangudai, and they're able to get pretty good damage here and trade against these archers. So a little bit unfortunate that we don't dive here on this wood line. And we're fighting here. You know, we're trading fairly evenly. You can see that we've gotten a really good, in terms of military kills, a good amount of points here, and we're gonna start getting a lot of gold now with these with this trade. And we are starting to get our blacksmith upgrades, which are gonna be pretty big. Behind this, we're floating a lot of wood because we're looking to do a 2TC play. The market's nice. But since he's got a safe area here, I was kind of worried that he was going to go for double or triple TC. I was just playing a couple matches where I lost, just going with mass market trade, and it's just because your food just starts just suffering. Even though you've got plenty of gold and you got to trade out gold for other resources, it's just you still end up losing a lot of resources because you're doing this trading out like that. So we are going to look to drop a second TC here. Hopefully soon. Again, this is the other thing. We're playing a little bit poorly today. You know, floating tons of resources, not being really clean on our builds here. We are going to try to get a raid behind here. We hope to draw his army a little bit forward. We do see him heading into the east, so we have to be careful that he doesn't spot our market. And he does. His scout starts attacking us, so we know now that he's seen us here, and we're going to go for the intercept on this army. That is mostly archers. We weren't too worried about it. Over here, we run into his little force here. We're okay trading out here on these guys because it is mostly an archer army. He does have the spearmen. It is a little bit unfortunate that we don't focus on the spearmen first, but we were trying to fight this army over here. And you see, we're getting this cleanup over here, which is a little bit more important than you know, just kind of delaying and trading out this units over here. So we get a really nice cleanup over here on the side, and we're going to be able to clean up the scout now, attacking our market. And we're starting to trade, and we are up to 9 traders now. So a little bit behind on our traders here as well, is because we had so much wood. But we are up to double TC now, and we're still just rallying villagers onto wood here. We want to start rotating villagers onto pasture, so now we're getting enough wood. We're starting to drop here pastures. We'll put our villagers off of gold. We're going to start collecting these berries here. And we did finish the deer, so we're going to put some villagers over onto these boar. We are trying to get forward towers we started made, but we get picked off here by a little army. Looks like he's going to start walling in, which is a good move on his part. And we have our army here. We're going to start rotating to the mid because we see he's starting to push here. And we're in a little bit of an exposed spot here if he pushes this army forward, because he has the ability to rotate to the south here on a trade line. Again, military numbers are definitely in our favor, same with the value because of this. He is going to start walling over here. Interesting kind of walls that he builds in general. With that much wood, he doesn't really save that much, and it's almost worth just doing a full wall. His scouts over here and starts hitting us. So we're a little bit worried that he's going to start pulling units across. So we're coming over to clean up the scout, and I figured that this army had actually moved over to the west. We do set our deer stun up to get some vision and some forward yam. and we are producing villages here. You can see our food income is kind of suffering. We do a little bit too much resources onto wood here, but we have a really solid wood eco right now. So we're pretty happy with that because we can start dropping tons of pastures here and start stabilizing our food eco with no problem. And we wipe this army up, and we're going to start looking for a push here. You can see that our eco counts are very similar. Um, he's on double TC, we're on 2 TC and double market. So now actually we're going to start pulling ahead in terms of eco count pretty significantly because we're on basically 4 production buildings to his 2. And yeah, we're just kind of taking some space here, kind of looking where we're going to raid. We know our opponent is kind of booming behind this, but he's going to have to move out or transition to trade if he wants to take these mid-map golds. Which is something too, I've been, because I've been playing a lot of market build here, but I've been starting to think that maybe another trade too, another option is to start going into more of a 2 TC play because it is, it can be pretty bad sometimes just when you get those raids on and an opponent can really shut down your trade early. It can really get really hard to do anything. We get a nice little raid here on his villagers. And so we're able to take out a little bit of villagers here. Take out 6 vills or 4 vills. And we see that he's got a pretty nice army here. And we're just going to kind of fall back, fall away from it. And we do run into these walls here. So we know that we can't kind of loop around all the way. And we are rallying more troops here to the middle. And we're going to start producing a lot more infrastructure. And we are up to 10 pastures now. And we're rallying onto sheep as well. So our eco is sitting in a really good spot right now, and you can see that we're way ahead in terms of eco count now because we're producing out of this market and out of the 2 TCs at the same time. He tries to flank us with these spearmen, and when he pulls a spearman away from his army, we're able to kind of collapse on one, get a decent trade here, and we're pushing into his villagers here. I have some villagers on here, and we're just going to have to kind of back out and look away. Behind this we have another army, and they're going to move up and north. We want to see what's happening on the side of his base, if this is walled. We don't know what's really happening inside, if he's gone triple TC or not. So we're just going to fall back. We do see him start heading south, so we know we're going to have to start adding some more troops, and we're going to have to fight for our trade here shortly. So what we do, knowing that our opponent has gone for this, is going to head for our trade. We're going to take this army. We see that he's got walls up. So we've rallied across here, so we're going to hit the front of his base here with this. We do try to pull these villagers, but it's a little bit too late. This is something that I should have done definitely earlier. And when this happens, we do pull these 4 vills, which is something. But we have this army here that's close and nearby, and we're a little bit worried what we're going to do. We're rallying more troops here, and we're sending these guys to the market to the north. So we're building traders to go to the market to the north. Over here, we're going to get a decent trade onto his bill line, on his gold line, which is going to be nice. He starts setting up for markets as well. And he's got this army down here, and we can't really fight this very well. So we've decided just to raid where we knew there was villagers at. We knew there was villagers on this wood, on this berry, so we're going to raid this. And we get a pretty good amount of kills here. You can see we've gotten 24 villager kills, but he's gotten up to 16 because he's been killing a lot of traders. But we're keeping a good economy here at this point. A really good raid would have been hitting here at the north, as well as over here to the south. He's got some food production going. So he's doing a really good job killing all these traders. I'm getting really sloppy not pulling all these traders to the north, but I am sending these villagers north, and I didn't realize that this was completely walled off. So a little bit unfortunate on our part here. And we are building an army up right here, and we're sitting in a pretty good spot right now. To be able to hold this against this army, because it is mostly, once these traders die, it is mostly archers and spearmen, so he can't really dive under our TC here, which is where he's coming up into. It's the zone. We lose a bunch of villagers here. The traders I could have just pulled and just had them sit back, so losing all these traders again, just kind of sloppy on my part losing them. I didn't really have to lose them. Over here we hit his wood line, get a bunch of kills, and we're going to keep moving north and see where we can find more villagers. Here he's starting to move his army back north. He's got to clean up our units here. This is basically 28, 32, almost his entire army is over here. So over here we run into these troops, a little bit of an over pursuit. We could have gotten a little bit cleaner on the amount of kills. And he's going to start kind of pushing and retreating, but we have a nice little army formed up because we have such a good amount of military infrastructure here set up. And we're setting up some more. And we're dropping a third town center here. So, again, we lost a bunch of villagers, we lost a bunch of traders, and we're worried. But we also see that he was only on 2 TC. We haven't seen yet that he's on markets. And we're about to see that he's got traders coming over, so that's when we're going to just sacrifice these troops to delay his trade up as much as we can. And we see that our traders are heading this way, so we start sending traders to the south. He does have a camo archer that's kind of harassing us, so we're going to send some units down to take care of it. But we have another group of guys heading around over here. Unfortunately, he does have a palisade gate, so again, it's gonna be a little bit rough to burn this down with mostly Mangudai here. But we do have 3 Keshiks which are kind of coming here. And we're gonna pull this army around and across. We're just gonna sacrifice this. We do have some traders coming in, which are dropping some resources. I'm not entirely sure why they're only giving 55. Maybe it's from these guys from over here. But we dropped a couple more markets and we're sending over to here. And we've gone up to a 3rd TC. We're going to rally all of our villagers onto food here. These villagers are going to pull into gold or onto wood, and we're tapping up to castle age at this point. He does try to pull villagers here. We re-micro our Mangudai. We're able to quickly snipe out a couple of drills here. And yeah, we're just running this army in circles around his base, just chewing up some time here. And we're just massing up some more units, bringing the culture to the front, and starting to get our upgrades here for our Keshiks. Over here we do spot that he's got his trade up and going, so we know we're going to have to fight this. But we also have our trade up and going, and we're up to 13 traders again. So losing all those traders that we did was kind of a really big mistake. We didn't have to, so we definitely could have fought them a little bit differently. And we take this fight here, again, definitely a fight in our favor, but we could have delayed like this fight a little bit, I think, and taken a much better fight once our upgrades come through. But we're just trying to keep tempo. We know we have a little bit of an eco lead at this point, since we've done a lot of damage here. You know, we haven't killed equal amount of villagers at this point. But we've actually lost a lot more troops than he has. So behind this, we do send a couple of Mangudai to clean up this camo archer that's been harassing our trade line. And we don't have many troops here. We have a couple of traders still running around trading behind the base, but we lose most of our army here. And he run around the side. And we're going to build a couple of stables because we need to start getting some mangonels and some pressure here on our opponent, a little bit more consistent. We're chopping this wood here on our base. These couple of gurs here, double placed here, were kind of a mistake. We could have picked one up, set one up here, set one up here, so a little bit of an error on our part. But we've gone triple TC and we're producing a ton of units, and this is kind of helping to recover basically all the eco that we've lost here. But he does also have 4 markets of his own, so he's also catching up real quick in terms of eco. So we're sending another raiding force, so we gotta make sure we get constant damage here. We know that these berry bushes are eventually gonna get eaten by him, so this is why we're pushing here on the berry bushes. And we get a really good timing because he's about to get this wall up, and he doesn't get the wall up, and he's got a bunch of villagers here. And so we're able to kill these villagers, and we're just gonna fall back. It would have been nice to get an attack move with those Keshiks in there because we would have killed all the villagers 100%. So we're getting a nice little damage, nice damage here, and he's chasing us with a decent-sized army, and he's gonna kind of follow us around up there. We do have a couple ARAM coming out. We're gonna send it to the north to do some damage to bust through this wall here, so we can start getting some easy raids. The ram is kind of a hindrance for people to deal with, and just a plain old tower is not going to stop it. So we're gonna run and just get some space here on our opponent. and we're just massing up units again. Again, we're ahead in the eco, maintaining a lead, but we are a little bit behind in terms of military, though we have a more expensive military, better army value. And he's reaching castle age now. And when he's reached castle age, I know it's because his trade is teeing off here. And we traded into a few camels here, a few spearmen, so we get a pretty good kills here. He starts running from us, and we just push into him here. A little bit of a mistake not attack moving with our guys, and we're just when we do finally realize that we're fighting here, it's a little bit too late, and we're gonna fall back. But during this, we're actually attacking over here, and we're gonna get a really nice pick here on these villagers. And we're able to survive with some of these units, not all of them, but with some of them. But we'll get a ton of kills on his food villagers here, which is really big. It's gonna really hurt him. And he's still got wood up here. He's got villagers on wood over here, and just a couple villagers on food over here. And he's starting to set up farms, so he's starting to stabilize his food eco as well. Our food eco is super stabilized at this point, and we stopped making villagers because we're sitting at 120 vills, and that's kind of where we want to be. And getting that big villager kill in this raid here puts us in a really good spot, because now we know that we're pulling ahead in terms of the eco count, and we're going to start pushing into these this trade line here. So we just park him right here, and we're going to start killing a bunch of traders, which is really good. His armies have been idled because he's trying to do some things, I'm sure. He's trying to set up. Behind this, we're massing up more army. We also started to produce horsemen because they produce faster. And we just needed numbers because I was worried about this army pushing into our base. So that's why we made a bunch of units, and we're starting to send them across. Behind this, we also sent a ram. We made a hole here. It's making a hole here. It's going to make a hole in other areas. We do find these villagers on the wood, so we get some more villager kills. And here we are again, killing a bunch of traders. So really clean harassment here. He's bringing his army. While he brings his army, we're sending a ram over here to break down this palisade gate, and we wanted to start working on his eco over here. He sees our villagers going. He sees us going for this palisade gate, and he pulls a bunch of villagers. I don't know what these villagers were gonna do, but when they get close, they start going for the ram. I think he's gonna do something else, and he starts going for the kill here. But our units are right here, so we're able to deny this and do a pretty good amount of damage here. And he's building a pretty big army now. Here on the front of our base, he's cleaned up. He hasn't cleaned up this army. We're just kind of raiding behind the back here, getting some damage in. We've rotated villagers into wood. We've almost cleaned up most of our wood here. Again, big mistake not moving our girls with this wood line. We're dropping a bunch of pastures up, and we've aged up to imp right now too. So we're way ahead of our opponent in terms of tech now, and we're going to start getting our upgrades right now. We're getting Sea of Bolems for Mangudai. And we are starting to get some upgrades here for these towers, as well as a prayer tent. So we're losing a bunch of trade here, which is unfortunate. And I think we're going to start sending some trade to the north here. These Mangudai are doing some damage. It's pretty impressive how little damage they do. There must be an upgrade in the culture wing that gives these traders so much armor. Because they get a ton of armor, and they're absolutely, they're super hard to kill now. They're super tanky. Yeah, they're just taking, they're taking hardly any damage, which is pretty crazy. Behind this, we did rally a whole bunch of cavalry, a bunch of knights, to deal with these, with this push here. We do lose a bunch of villagers here, so again, a little bit of a mistake on our part here. But, in terms of, eco damage, he's definitely way behind us. We've broken all of his eco over here, and we got a pretty good amount of kills over here. And at the same time, we're shutting down his trade, and we are starting to send traders up to the north here, because it's getting, you know, there's a little bit of a push here, and he might commit to the push, so I'm kind of worried about that. He does send some rams to our main base. He takes out a couple buildings, but again, we're not too worried about it, because we can produce more buildings, and that's what we're doing. We're going to drop some more infrastructure in the back. This army, not huge, but it's decent, and we're going to get some kills here on this trade line. He pulls a bunch of villages here, and we're able to start harassing these vills. Not entirely sure what those vills were going to do. I thought they might want to build something. He takes out this first fort that we had up here, but our traders are going to come through this wall and get some good return here. And our trader numbers are up to 23 again. So we've been losing a bunch of traders, but we're stabilizing again. We should get our Sea of Boholims improved. We're dropping more infrastructure. We're getting our upgrades for our blacksmith as well. So we really need to prioritize biology. Since our army is entirely cavalry, it's probably the best upgrade we can get for us. Off a rip, besides our elite upgrades, and he's starting to incorporate some crossbows into his army, and we've noticed this. He's got a good amount of units here, so we're just gonna back up. It's not really a fight we want to take, and we're just gonna try to harass him. We're gonna try to avoid and just keep harassing and kind of do our own thing here. And he tries to body block us with these guys, but there's just not enough units to really accomplish it. Behind this, we're going to start pushing up the gut. Got a couple of rams, start getting some good damage. And we're going to drop a couple more a siege workshop, another prayer tent, and a stable. Our shaman should be on the way to pick up this relic. I don't know where he's at. Army back here is getting pretty much cleaned up here, and we're trading out these units, but you can see his eco is suffering really bad. He's at 48, and I think a big thing that helped us really stabilize here is not just the markets, but this third TC really allowed us to get up to 120 villagers really quickly. So we're still raiding here in the front. Again, kind of a wasted attack here on this palisade wall, but these rams are doing a really good work. And they're going to keep pushing, taking out infrastructure buildings, which is really nice. And we are pulling a villager to drop a sneaky tower on his market to start doing some damage here. Dropping infrastructure back here, starting to get more done here. We drop more over here. Prayer tent, we're getting our, what is this? Monastic shrines. And we're doing good damage here. We're keeping them kind of back, but we're getting our upgrades now. Elite Keshiks, as well as improved Step Lancers, and +3 arrow defense. We're just going to trade out these units, trade out these rams, let them just kind of do their thing. And we're just going to fall back behind this with our Khan more than anything. And we're going to rally a bunch of Mangudai over with our Khan. We wanted to come over here and get another raid around the back here. Our opponent does a really good job of getting these walls up immediately. And he's going to deny us here that push. Okay, here's our monk picking up the second relic. Our opponent hasn't picked up relics yet. No, not yet. And he is trying to stabilize. His eco is climbing up. He's at 60 again, and this is why we're just kind of looking for ways to trade into his army. We have the eco to stabilize, to produce more units. So we're okay always with trading. And we are getting mangonels up, which is going to be kind of the final push army. With mangonels, you can get a really good push up. On this note, we do notice that our opponent... Oops. We don't see our opponent coming through yet. I'm pushing up over there. We're trying to raid around the side here. We wanted to bring some captive burn through. Fortunately, it doesn't work out in our favor. We trade out a lot of Mangudai here, and we're just going to fall back. We're taking our Crow type forward. And at this point, we're going to notice that he's got a big army pushing on our trade line. So, really bad for us here. We're going to pull all of these villagers, and we're going to start building some towers here. Try to get a cannon tower here, and try to kind of hold this as best as we can. While over here in the middle, where Krota holding the middle of our base, no problem. Around the side, again, we got one Springwell tower, and we're going to want to pull some bills here to start getting some upgrades. Our stone income per minute is decent. It's at 400, but we would have liked to have some more. We really need to get the stone commerce upgrade, the fully upgraded version. It would have been good to get, because our traders are bringing in 7 stone per trade or per move. Over here, our mangonels are here. We're taking this fight here, and a little bit unfortunate, mangonels don't mic onto the crossbows here. And he takes his time burning through here. He's just got them on attack move. And we're getting our upgrades here. Again, we should have pulled back these bills, but we are going to garrison them, so at least we'll get some decent damage out of them here. And we're able to hold this here in the mid, clean this army up. But he has another force coming around the south here. So we have pulled these villagers, and they are quick tapping towers up. And we are pulling this Gur over to, I think the north is where we end up pulling him. But he sees these towers, the cannon tower. He's gonna start dropping rams. We do see this. We can see it here in our vision, and we're just gonna commit to a push in the middle. His army is pretty much all committed here. We know that his eco is taking a lot of hits, but it could recover. So we're just gonna commit to a push up the middle and kind of really set him back. And start flooding units across. We know if he starts pushing here, we could start losing troops. So we're going to mass a bunch of cavalry here around the back, just to be able to stop this push on our trade line. If he stopped committing to a push over here, could have been sending these villagers to do something. Over here, we're just going to slow pushing. It's going to be hard for him to get an army comp. His second army over here that was raiding our trade line to the south. Try to wrap around our mangonels if you notice, and we are going to be able to hold it here. And if over here to the front, he starts pushing. Our cannon tower starts going off, and we see this push coming. And I can't remember if I send the cav now or when. Over here, he's got an army, but we got mangonels that are being able to hold here. It'd be nice to see some more mangonels. He kind of messes up attacking this first tower. He had a really good opportunity attacking this other tower, but we weren't overly fretted because we have another cannon tower, two more in the back, one ready to go, one more getting produced, and we wanted to really commit about getting pressure here in the front. And yeah, we send out all of our cav force that we have here, and they're going to clean this up, no problem. If we lose these markets, it's not end of the world because we do have 34 traders at this point, and one of the markets will always stay up. Kurultai refuses to go up, which is really annoying. But at this point, we've really cemented our foothold here, and he GG's out. This was the last of his bills, really, besides a couple on farms over here. So, interesting match. Good to see that we were able to hold under pressure, but definitely really sloppy play by us in general today. So it was nice to finally get a win. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I hope I see you on the next one.